everyone. Welcome to the It Shouldn't Happen to Us podcast, where your wannabe sales gurus come at you from the heart of Miami with tales of woe from the field. This is Carlos and Sophia, and we're building sales and sales teams just like you guys are, and we get the struggle. As gurus, it shouldn't happen to us, but it seems to.
Hey, Sophia. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I'm doing just dandy. How about yourself?
I'm good. What's rocking?
What's rocking? Well, today's been, half the day is done, right? It's been a good day. It's been a day of a lot of personal branding activities.
Oh, do tell more. Personal branding. I like the sound of that. I'm trying to wrap my mind at the moment. So I'm interested to hear what you've done. But we're both technology Neanderthals, as you call us, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around Twitter. But what have you done, personal branding?
Well, I just did, I emceed an event called Sales Shaker, and I asked questions to Tom and Dion of Sandler Training, some questions. They're out of the UK. And,
Tom Mallon.
Yeah.
Is Dion his wife or his girlfriend?
Yes, that's his wife. She's amazing. And she's she's an ex-FBI.
Never. She can't be FBI. She's from England. She's from Birmingham.
Oh, is it FBI? Oh, shit. I'm fucking
She can't be FBI. Unless there's a Birmingham, England branch of the FBI, which would be fantastic if there is one.
My God, I'm going to feel terrible. No. UK-based police detective.
She's a copper. Or she was a copper.
She was.
Or as my friend Jimmy would say, she's Popo.
Or as my uncle would say, she's with the fuzz.
The fuzz. Yeah. Call the cops. I had no idea, but it's certainly not the FBI, not unless the FBI have a Birmingham, UK Birmingham branch, which I doubt very, very much. Okay, that's cool. She's cool. I really like her. So that was part of your personal branding efforts, was it?
Well, yeah. So I went on this webinar and I represented, of course, our company, but I also just got to know a new audience as Sophia Rodriguez. And it's funny because part of what Dion spoke about is that people follow company brands, but people follow people. And so it's important to create a personal brand that, connects you to the company, but also people want to have a humanized, want to speak to someone humanized, if that makes sense.
This is so interesting for me. Because we often sit in that little space between sales and marketing, right? I always like Antonio's definition of the difference between sales and marketing. Can you remember it? How would you define the difference?
Are you thinking of when he says marketing is everything that happens before hello, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, nice to meet you, and then from the moment you're speaking to prospect, now we're in sales?
Yeah, that's what he says. And I don't know if you remember Tom, who used to work with us, but he used to say as well that sales creates action, marketing creates comfort, which I thought was an interesting way. I'm not sure I 100% subscribe to it, but I certainly there's some theory there that I think there's some insight there that I think is wise. But you're exactly right. This is getting complex. Sales is very complex, and I believe there is a personal branding element to it, which is and so ignore Twitter and LinkedIn and TikTok at your peril if you're selling stuff. And we certainly can't, right? We can't ignore that. There has to be Carlos's brand, Sophia's brand. There has to be our absolute brand. There has to be our brand for it shouldn't happen to us. And, we forgot to say it really shouldn't happen to us, but it always seems to happen to us. It shouldn't happen to us. There's our absolute brand, and then there's Carlos, and then there's Sophia. And you can't ignore any of them. You really can't. So well done, you.
No.
And in fact, I commented on your LinkedIn post just this morning, which was, I think, a repost of TikTok. Was it an actual repost of TikTok?
Yeah. So
I
have been trying to build TikTok as our Sandler Miami TikTok, because apparently TikTok is the most visited website in the world. So I thought, hey, might as well chip away at TikTok.
Can't be. It might be the second after Google. I think I heard that stat. Can't be more than Google. Is it really?
That would be terrifying. I don't know. I think so. And so I will say, when it comes to recording videos, the TikTok totally enables my birth defect, which is a terrible work ethic. And what I mean by that is, instead of
it's a curse, though, right? It's a curse. That work ethic. Yeah,
that right. It helps so much because recording videos can be, even if it's a 1 minute freaking video, it can be so much anguish because sometimes you do multiple takes. I mean, I know there's people out there that say don't do multiple takes, but if it's a 1 minute video and you're really trying to make a point, and at the end you kind of you're stumbling on your words, TikTok is cool because you can record in clips, so you can make one point, then pause, and it's cool because it does the captions as well. It just promotes it just enables my laziness, and so I'm like, posting social media videos is already such a such a task. So if I can record them on TikTok, post them to TikTok, and then save them with captions already done, then put it on LinkedIn and Instagram.
It auto captions.
Yes. Now you have to read it because the punctuation might be a little wonky, or the spelling of something will be a little. So you have to proofread it. But yeah, it auto captions. So hey.
Okay, it's a crystal ball moment. So if I'm going to get my crystal ball out and have a look at my crystal ball, and let me tell you what the future holds. We are going to have 2 or 3 people doing this for us so that we can just do what we need to do, which is inspire and content and entertain and bring some insight and some comfort to our viewing and listening audience. And somebody's going to be able to do that stuff. And I don't think, listen, we can't ever step fully away from it, but somebody can surely do that. So I'm guessing someone can do that better than you figuring it out on the hoof. And I absolutely know it can be done. Somebody could be doing that better than me learning that. Because this is going to be like, I remember being about 9 years old when we got our first video recorder in the house, and I'm sure it must have fallen off the back of a lorry. Do you have that expression in America, fallen off the back of a lorry? Dad came home with it one night. And I woke up one Saturday morning, I woke up to find this box. And I unpacked it and plugged it in, and I figured it all out within about 30 seconds. I figured that. I read the manual. I mean, this was an exciting moment. First VCR recorder. This was going back 40-odd years. And then I remember trying to teach Mum and Dad how to use it. That's now how I feel. I now feel like they must have felt trying to figure out how to do how to set the timer to record something in the evening. That's how I feel now, trying to figure out the tech. No, we've got.
You're pretty good though. You don't cut yourself enough slack. You're pretty good. You're pretty good at tech.
I really don't.
You can work your computer. You can work your Apple TV. You work Zoom. You run Zoom sessions pretty seamlessly. So yeah.
You know what I think they've done? They've made tech the very what's the word? It's like
intuitive.
Intuitive, and it's very. It can be the basics. Basically, the basics are our dog. Sparky the dog could run the basics, but getting it to do anything special, no chance to get it to do I get to about 40% of what it can do. I get to about 40%, and then I just figure workarounds. I do. And the guys that, the guys at 25, 30 years old like you, or younger than you, those guys have got such an advantage, right? They can run at twice the speed I could have run at there, when I was 25. So they have got a massive monster advantage. And then
that brings to mind, though.
Go on. No, go on.
That brings to mind, though, when I think about 25 to 30, I think about some of the newer, the new people in the sales force right now for all companies. And it's amazing that they can leverage tech, but that doesn't mean that tech is everything. Like, what's coming to mind is we had hired someone on our team who was very tech savvy. But like when it comes to prospecting, for example, in sales, you can't just have a nifty email sequence through HubSpot, for example. Isn't nifty email sequence through HubSpot amazing? Absolutely. But that if we could have everything automated by technology and it would work, then that would be an amazing world where you could just have amazing leads falling dead in front of you. But it's got to be a combination. So while we might be technological Neanderthals, the newer generations need to remember how to use the freaking phone and hyper-personalize outreach.
And here's an idea. Yeah. How about just being a little fun and interesting? So I was going to say a moment ago, saying that I am such a Neanderthal, and I really am. I did a little prospecting this morning, and I sent out 3 vidyards this morning. And that is videoed, and guess what? I even linked the email to HubSpot so I could see if somebody was all logged. Have a look. You're the master of HubSpot. Have a look. You'll see the emails went out. You'll see I got the opens from Vidyard, so I saw what had been opened and how much of it they'd watched and who'd opened it and watched it. Now, and you're exactly right, because just doing just being the tech on its own doesn't stand up. Now, when you watch the video, and go on my video, go and watch it, they were funny. I even drew up this little card, and I was like, Mark, you've made Carlos sad, you've not sent me a referral. And I had this little card, you've made Carlos sad, you've not sent me a referral. Just funny, just having a little bit of personality to it. The tech doesn't stand on its own. In fact, the tech cannot stand on its own, is my analysis. The person plus the tech, the humanity plus the tech, having a little fun without losing any gravitas, add the tech into that, put it at speed, make it efficient, and wow, that's powerful. There are just some time-old truths in sales that don't change because sales is still a person making a decision, right? And what a power that is in sales to help somebody make that decision. In fact, I wrote in my journal, I'm going to read from my journal for you, so. How edifying. Are you ready for a bit of a Zen moment?
Let me just sit back.
Sit back for a moment.
Take it in. Okay.
So legitimately, today's in my journal today, a simple conversation can change a mind. In changing a mind, it can change a life. In changing a life, it can change the world. What a power we hold. Hey, that's what I wrote. That's humanity, right? That's never going to disappear from the pursuit of selling. It's not. And no tech's going to be able to replace that. No AI is going to be able to. Well, I don't know about no AI. I'm sure AI at some point can. But no tech's going to replace it. And that's why, no matter how technologically advanced you are, you're still going to be able to go out into the marketplace and create huge things well outside of your even your level of ambition. But you're also going to get your ass handed to you no matter how technologically advanced you are from time to time, right?
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, it's as simple as, I'm going to be honest with you. Being remote has made me a true extrovert. When it comes to going to...
Oh, it made you an extrovert. You didn't start an extrovert, right?
No, it's made me I'm saying that working remote has made me an extrovert into a little bit of an introvert. Wow. And what I mean by that is when it comes to meeting up an old buddy from the chamber or something for lunch, as I'm putting, shoes on to leave the house, I'm kind of rolling my eyes a little bit. But just yesterday, I went on such a great lunch. I got 3 referrals from that lunch. And it was a great lunch. It was a great conversation. I learned from the person I was having lunch with. And I was like, you know what? I roll my eyes at having to leave the house because I haven't really had to leave the house. But when you do, it's like, man, nothing replaces that in-person coffee, go by someone's office. Nothing replaces that in person. Not to say you got to be able to do both. You got to be able to have an effective virtual coffee, but you also got to push yourself out of the house every once in a while and meet with people who want to help you grow your business and who you can help grow their business. It's just...
Isn't that interesting that it's dragged us that way? So it's made you a conspicuous extrovert, a little more introverted. It's made me an introvert into essentially a recluse. I mean, the only people I see are the Amazon delivery guys and the Instacart delivery guys, and I'm just a bloody recruit. Look, I'm actually going on a sales call on Friday morning, and I'm going in person, and it's an expand account, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm actually quite looking forward to it. I'm going to get out, I have to dress properly for the first time in a while.
I don't know how to dress anymore. COVID fashion is very weird. It's a lot of gray. It's a lot of, anyways.
A lot of comfy.
I don't know.
A lot of comfy.
It's a lot of comfy.
So, I heard something cool today. And it reminded me, and it gave me a little insight. So I heard on the radio today, there was a lawyer talking. And the lawyer said, there's like a rule in law, and he was saying and I have heard it before, he was saying his old mentor used to tell him, tell the jury the counter argument up front. Okay? So tell the jury the bad news up front. And it resonated with me because, remember I used to be an investment banker. And the philosophy here is, you don't want the jury to figure it out on their own. If the jury figures something out on their own, then they own it. Gives it way more credibility. And also you can seem scared of some facts. So lay it out. Lay the tough news out first, the stuff that works against your case. And it resonated with me because, remember, I used to be an investment banker and I used to do a lot of buying and selling companies. And I remember when we used to do a sales mandate, when we used to sell a company, we'd run a full process. The first step of that process is putting out something called an information memorandum, which basically markets a company or a business opportunity to the world, markets it. And a bunch of people put their hand up and say, I'm interested. Well, I'd like to find out more. And at that point, there's an old investment banking technique, which is not a technique, it's just it's a method, which is to say, hey, listen, you said you're interested, but let me tell you all the reasons you absolutely shouldn't buy this company. I'm just going to, warts and all, I'm going to tell you the lot. So you go from a marketing position into you blow the bomb up, which is kind of like what this lawyer was saying. You blow the bomb up. The bomb's going to go off. I want to be in charge of when we blow it up. And then that reminded me. So my thought process went, that lawyer reminded me of the old investment banking adage, which is, laid out all the reasons why somebody shouldn't buy the company you're selling. And assuming they're cool, then it gets a very accelerated process, no wrinkles. It moves so much faster to close. And then it reminded me, what do we always tell our clients? We always tell our clients, you blow up the bomb at the beginning. You start your sales call with all the reasons why somebody shouldn't buy. Not all of them, but the ones you know are going to come and bite you in the ass. And it also sets up the right energy, the right orientation and motivation.
Oh my God, totally.
I mean, everything is just beautiful at that point. And then that reminded me of a guy who's currently, out of the 10 people in my pipeline at the moment, one of them is ghosting me. And I need to close it down. I just want to do the deal, but I need to close it down. And I was reminded that in that call, when I went to, and I did go and see them, they were up in West Palm Beach. I did a high conviction, positive tradition. I got trapped into that traditional, let me tell you how cool we are. I got trapped into it, Sophia. I didn't even get trapped into it. The word trap makes you think that he in some way finessed me into it. I'm just an idiot. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. You open it, nice structured conversation. You've got it all figured out. Pre-call plan. Did I do my pre-call plan? I can't remember. It was about 2 months ago. I bet I didn't. That's where the problem happened. It's like, what does Andy McCready always say? What's the Spice Girls? You tell the story of the Andy McCready and the Spice Girls.
No, it's the best story. That I guess Andy McCready shares that he wrapped his BMW around a light post, and that the accident didn't happen when he wrapped his BMW around the light post. It happened about half a mile back when he was blasting the Spice Girls, and his friend was screaming Spice Girls out the sunroof. That's when the accident really happened.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this idea that I fell into the trap, which I didn't, a trap of my own creation, about going into a, hey, let me tell you about how cool we are, pitch. That happened the day before, probably when I didn't do my pre-call plan. Because that's what, and then, you know what, maybe I did it and I was an idiot and didn't review it on the, what should you do? You should do your pre-call plan, and then you should get there, and then you should get it out your bag. Hey, show it a bit of love, show it the air, and then you can have a read of it. And I could have read the pre-call plan, but arrogant, Sophia. I got this, I can do this. Go on.
And we are sales trainers. We have a sales process down. Tattooed, seared into the brain. We know when to do what, and we think to ourselves in a pre-call, like, oh, well, am I really going to write down my upfront contract? I've delivered an upfront contract thousands of times. What am I going to really sit on LinkedIn and identify the cast of characters? But that's not the purpose of the pre-call plan. It's not just writing out the upfront contract and identifying key decision makers. Part of the pre-call plan that I think is most overlooked is the mindset.
100%.
What is my freaking mindset going to be going in here? It's going to be one of equal business stature. It's going to be one of disqualifying. Am I going in there to have, with rose-colored lenses looking for any reason to qualify them? Or am I going in there to really figure out, do they have issues that I can solve? And do they really, really want to solve these issues? Or is it a would like to have versus a need to have? That's another part of the pre-call plan. It's that mindset. And what questions are they likely to ask me? And how am I going to answer those questions? I think when we think of pre-call plan, we just think of, okay, what's my upfront contract? Like, what's the agenda? Who should be there? And what questions should I ask? Which, mind you, the second one, who should be there? We walk into a meeting, 3 people should be there, 2 people are there. And even despite having done the pre-call plan, we still are like, let's just do it anyways. So
here's what I think
shouldn't happen to us.
It shouldn't happen to us. But let me tell you, I think in some ways we're victims of our own success. And I think we should have this empathy and sympathy for our clients who, when they start to show some real success, like, who's a great example? Someone like Rick, or someone like Carlos, or someone like Ava, or one of those guys that we work with a lot, and they start to knock it out of the park. When that happens, the world kind of teaches you a very unpleasant lesson. You're good at this. You got this. You're good. That's did to me anyway. You're good at this. You got this. And what is it Bill Gates says? Success is a lousy teacher, right? It's a lousy teacher. And I think that's what happens. You get good at and Antonio always used to say it, right? Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong.
Oh, God, I forgot that one. It's so good.
And I just think sometimes I have to remember that, because do we still do? Michael Jordan's not a player anymore, but a leading player is still practicing every day. Drills. I think
Jinx is having a conniption.
He's having an absolute conniption. And talking about being a Neanderthal, I actually don't know how to pause this. So let's just let
it roll.
Shall I bring Jinx in and show the world?
Please.
Let's
have an Animal Planet moment.
Next episode, we can show our pets. I'll bring Jinx. I'll bring Sparky.
I'll bring my boyfriend as the pet.
Let's hope he doesn't see this. Cats? Have you not got a cat? I thought you were a crazy cat lady.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready to go full blown crazy cat lady. That takes not so much fixer-upperness. I also have more doors here. Anyways.
My point was, success for me, I have to remind myself that there's never an excuse for breaking the process. And yet I seem to fall into the trap. That is the trap. The trap is break my process. Think that I got this. I'm the master of this. That's the trap I fell into this week. It shouldn't happen to us. And it happened about 2-3 weeks, maybe 2 months ago. And now I find myself, where am I now? Client ghosting me, voicemail jail, the guy's in the witness protection program. I kid you not, I'm going to read the text message he sent me. I'm going to read the actual...
I'm already
this is going to make you feel unwell. It made me feel unwell.
Hashtag unwell.
Here we are. I can try and give you a call later today. There's commitment, right? There's a commitment.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
I can try and give you a call later today, word for word. That's the way I try to give up booze or try to go to the gym. That's exactly the way I try to go to the gym. So here's my commitment to you today, Sophia. That account is dropping out of my pipeline ahora mismo.
Okay.
Today, that's out, and I need to replace it with something, right?
Tell listeners what that might look like. What is the close the file? What's going to be your close the file of choice?
Oh, the thing is, I'm going to read it to you again. Because the close the file of choice would have been, I won't use his name, but, hey, George, I'm getting a sense that I might have done, hey, I might have waited till Friday and say, hey, George, I'm just tying up my weekend loose ends. Don't let me think about you all weekend. I want to relax with my family. Tell me when you and I are going to connect. So it was a Friday. Might have been a little light. Or I could go real lighthearted. Hey, George, it seems like we've broken up and no one's told me about it. I might have sent something a little bit lighthearted. And if we had cool energy oh, we can do all the theatre, right? Where you put the sad music on, and you record a little message that you send by message to them, where with the sad music playing and seems like you've found another love. One of those. That's lighthearted. That is designed to sort of hook and attract, magnetize back in. But I'm not sure I can give you a call that I can try. Well, first of all, the grammar's terrible. Let me read it to you. I can try and give you a call later today. I mean, you're disqualified on grammar alone. It should be I can try to give you a call later today. I just want to do the hard close. Hey, George, I'm getting a sense this isn't the right time. I'm going to close this for now. We'll re-engage at some point in the future, I'm sure. I'm just going to go for a close, like I mean it close. Or am I letting my ego?
It's almost like you give them a chance to put you out of your misery. Like, okay, here I go with the dating parallels again. But like, I imagine if I had a guy, that texting me and calling me, never happens. Doesn't happen. But in an alternate universe, imagine, a guy is like, hey, I really had a great time that Saturday. And just keep, I was wondering if you want to go out again, and maybe I ghost, and hey, I'm still thinking of you. I here's a song that reminded me of you, and hey, I almost feel like it is an act of service for a guy to just say, hey, I get a sense that, there isn't really a romantic connection here. Should we just call off the dog? Should we table this? I wish. If you had a creepy someone hitting you up like that, don't you wish that they'd put you out of your freaking misery?
I tell you, you've just given me my email. I'm doing it. I'm going to do by email, by voicemail, and by text. I'm going to say the same message.
I thought there was a budding romance.
George, I'm going to say, I love it. Because it's lighthearted too, right? It's lighthearted enough to communicate that and my feelings aren't hurt. I'm going to say, George, I thought we had a budding romance. I get a feeling like, what did you say? The chemistry's not there. I get a feeling that you ain't feeling the chemistry. You ain't feeling the chemistry. I thought we had a budding romance. I get a sense you're not feeling the chemistry. I'm going to put us both out of our misery. Calling off the dogs. Closing this file down, shredding it, and hey, who knows? We may bump into each other in a bar one day in the future. I actually love that. That is definitely the message that's going.
Because it's hard to tell someone. It's hard to tell someone, hey, I just don't like you, my dude. Like that's hard. That's hard to say. And when someone can give you a way out, it is so appreciated.
And it's hard when they've got some dough for you as well, right? Put that in the context of sales. Hey, I don't like you, my bro, true. But the guy's got some dough, and he wants to push it in our pockets, and it isn't good enough. That ain't a good enough reason. We know better than that. So you know what? It shouldn't happen to us. It seems to happen to us, but I've just got a new close the file. This is going in my template, in my close the file template.
Gallery.
I thought we had a budding romance, but I'm getting a sense that you're not feeling the chemistry. That is brilliant.
Was it the song? Was it the mixtape I made for you?
The mixtape I made? That is brilliant. Was it the mixtape? Did I come on too hot and heavy?
Did I? Yeah. Did you not like my outfit that night? Or like, did I? What was it? Is it that I ordered a tuna salad on our first? I don't know. Who knows?
Did I overseason the salad? Yeah. Actually, saying that within the first week or 2 weeks of me seeing Carolina, who's now my wife, as you know, I did send her a song on Apple Music. I'd figured out how to send a song. I couldn't do it. Can you believe it? What a loser! Anyway, I sent this song, and I couldn't do it again. I have no idea how to send a song on Apple Music, but somehow I must have figured it out. And I sent her this song on Apple Music, and she met me the next day to break up with me. Absolutely did. She was like, "What's this freak show all about?"
Oh,
I sent her M People. I sent her M People, which you won't know who M People was. M stood for it was a UK band. They were brilliant. M People, look them up. I sent her M People, and what was the song? I can't remember the song now. I'd have to look it up.
Oh, man.
M People was super. I was trying to send her something that she wouldn't have heard of living in Colombia in America all her life. There is no way M People made it over to America. And they're brilliant. Sophia, do yourself a favor. Do a Google search or do an iTunes search on M People and listen to something like Hero, something like that. That isn't the one I sent her, but I can't remember what I sent her.
And she didn't like it?
Not only did she not like it, it was you almost couldn't see her for the speed.
It was a red flag.
Ran to the hills. This was like
a red flag.
Huge red flag from her. And I just thought I was doing something nice. There's a message here. There's a lesson here for us all. I thought I was doing something nice. You got to be a pretty craven individual for someone to give you a gift and you see in that all demons, and there's a darkness there. There really is. But maybe. Well, what do you think? Somebody's overly nice like that, and that is what happened to us sometimes in our sales pursuits. That's what happened with this guy. Overly excited, overly nice.
So I have a situation where I could have diffused the bomb, which it seems ridiculous, but so obviously, me and Carlos do a little sales training. And some of it, not all of it, but a lot of it takes place on Zoom. And I drove all the way. Why is it always the ones that you drive quite a bit?
I think there's a correlation. I think we should start tracking the correlation between hours invested in the travel or the setup time and how much of a pain in the arse that person is. I am convinced that's going to be perfectly correlated. The further you go, the more of a pain in the arse somebody becomes.
We can make a nice diagram, and we can
perfect correlation.
Maybe
I
change
reckon.
Sales.
Yeah,
I drove to Boca, which is not super far, but it's not
far enough.
A lamb's leg away, right?
Yeah.
Is it the shape of a lamb's leg, lamb's tail? What's that phrase? I don't know. I don't even know what it means. But anyways,
I don't know that phrase.
Maybe it's, I don't know where that's from. But I drove up there and
Cuban. Is that a Cuban translation to something?
No, it's not. I feel like it's not Cuban. I feel like it's American. A shake of a lamb's leg away. Shake of a lamb's tail. It's got to be a lamb's leg. Anyways, someone please email us and help us understand help us figure that out.
It could be a lamb's tail. It could be the irony that a lamb doesn't have a tail. I don't think a lamb has a tail.
Maybe a lamb
could be
doesn't
ironic.
have a tail.
Yeah.
Okay. We're changing the world with these figures of speech here.
Yeah.
So I drove up there and had a sales call with, and I brought my associate along at the time. And I sat with the CEO and the VP sales, and the VP sales was a tough cookie. I mean, she had a personality of the hemorrhoid. But anyway, she was just not a lovely individual by any means. Bless her. But she did not like me from the moment I walked in. And I know she was playing a little bit of a game. She was on guard, fine. But she beat the shiving lits out of me. I mean, I walked out of that. I walked out of that building, scrapped up. But and this CEO, we got through pain. We did a nice pain step. We uncovered. This guy was riddled with pain. This guy needed us. And at the end, he's like, "So how often would you be driving up here to Boca Raton?" And I said, "Well, probably once a month, not very often." And he's like, "Well, because I don't like this Zoom thing. I don't like Zoom." And I'm like, "So as in it's over? We should call off the dogs?"
That's
deal
a brilliant reverse. Is that what you said? So it's over?
That's what I said.
That's
and he said
exactly
yes.
the right response. George, I'm guessing it's over.
I know. And he said, yes. Now, I mean, I wish I would have defused that bomb an hour and a half earlier, but.
Or, hey, guess what? Maybe before you got in a car. Maybe before you got in a car, that bomb could have been defused, right?
Well, you know what? Maybe it was because while I was coordinating the discovery call, so I had the intro call with him. And on that intro call, at the end, we decided, yes, let's coordinate a longer conversation. And he did say, hey, I'm going to give you the address of my offices, because I was trying to coordinate it via Zoom. And he's like, I don't like this Zoom business.
Oh, red flag.
And
red
right
flag.
there, I should have, I mean, I didn't know if he meant like at all, but looking back on it.
Happy ears.
Ever since.
Happy ears.
Happy ears.
I know
and
it.
Perhaps that's part of what we should diffuse with what we sell. Is that, yes, some of the training is going to be on Zoom, and if that's a deal breaker, then
Adios.
Adios.
Yeah. Hey, love you. Gonna love you forever. Promise you're on my Christmas card list. That is absolutely a bomb that we really now need to start diffusing a lot more. You know, we know the bombs. You know, it shouldn't happen to us. We know the bombs. Management's got to be involved, not divorced. Management has to be divorced. Management has to be involved, leading the training alongside us. It's consistent reinforcement training because behavioral change takes time. And, you know, we have a hybrid model. There's some elements which are in person. The majority of the heavy lifting is done remote for everybody's convenience. And if somebody's got an issue with any of those things, hey, you know what? God, I love you to death. And there's a way of managing it. And there's a way of managing it before you get in your car is actually easier to manage that bomb than letting it blow up underneath you in West Palm Beach. That you could have potentially got rid of that bomb. Well, we know this. I'm not saying you know this as well as anybody. That bomb would have been handled in a more effective way here in Miami. You know, when they say he got an address and you say I was thinking of doing this on Zoom. Oh, I don't like that Zoom stuff. George, there's a large part of our training which is going to happen remotely for everybody's convenience, including yours. We find it's the most effective way to generate behavioral change and develop skills. But if this is a deal breaker for you, let's not waste each other's time. Now, at that point, George, or whoever it is, would have potentially been curious enough to wrap his mind around that fictitious barrier. Maybe. Way better than you getting too bocker, falling out with the VP of sales, which of course we always do. We fall out with the VP of sales in front of the owner. And now he's looking for a reason to say no rather than a reason to say yes. Way better. We both need to learn those bombs. And we forget.
You know who never gets this type of thing wrong? What is excuse my ignorance, what's the scan that people get really claustrophobic in? Is it a CAT scan?
Oh, an MRI.
An MRI. You know what? A doctor, in order to perform a surgery or prescribe something, an MRI is part of the process. And if you have claustrophobia, you can either take a pill that'll knock you out. You can have someone hold your hand while you're in there. I don't know. But you got to do the MRI. Whether it scares the shiving lits out of you or not, it's part of the process. And if you don't want to do it, fine. Maybe go to another doctor. But it's like doctors have that non-negotiable deal breaker stuff. They have it right.
Because they know how to handle somebody's humanity, or they think they do. They get good at it, right? They get better. It's a high-stress environment. They know a surgery is a high-stress environment. A dental procedure is a high-stress environment. Mm-hmm. And over time, they've realized as much as I've got to manage the medicine here, I've got to manage that person's humanity here. Otherwise, all the medicine in the world. If I can't get the guy on the gurney, all the medicine in the world ain't going to help me. So I've got to figure out how to, take the heat out of the situations where I over time I've learned that, I run into trouble. I know I need an MRI, and I know they're going to get claustrophobic, so I need to blow that up early, because I imagine they've lost a few along the way where somebody just couldn't. They hadn't thought about claustrophobia, and they get on the MRI and they say, this isn't for me, and they run out the door. But to learn it, they got to have a lot of at-bats. And it's at-bats that's the magic. It really is. You got to learn the lesson, you got to have some at-bats. It isn't enough just to intellectually learn it. You got to learn it with live ammo out in the field. That's what I believe. Listen,
So
what have we talked about today? Sophia, we have talked about defusing the bomb. We've given our listeners and viewers some amazing dating advice. I think you've given them better dating advice than I've given them, for sure. And we've given them a good indication that they shouldn't get in a car and drive to Boca Raton for a sales call.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Just say no, as Nancy Reagan encouraged us all to do. Just say no. That's a cultural reference that predates you, right? You have no idea Nancy Reagan said just say no.
No is a complete sentence.
Great to see you, Sophia. And thank you very much for listening along with us. Looking forward to catching you on the next episode. It's goodbye from Carlos.
Goodbye from Sophia. Ta-ta for now.